Hello, my name is Gabriel. I speak some languages, and today I would like to talk about something that I find pretty cool when it comes to language learning, and it's basically accent reduction. I think that, as you're learning a new language, it's basically inevitable that you will have an accent. And as I say many times, and as I always say, in fact, I think that accents can be quite cool, and people don't really need to stress about their accent. But I also believe that it is important for us to try to improve pronunciation and eventually develop a good accent in our target language. So I thought that it would be cool if I did an experiment and I would try to help essentially somebody reduce their accent and improve it in a target language. And I thought, well, why not my own mother? For whoever doesn't know, I am Brazilian and I live in Canada for a while. I'm also Canadian. My mother was born and raised in Brazil, and she only moved to Canada in her adult life. She has a Brazilian Portuguese accent when she speaks English. And although people find it quite charming and she can express her ideas and communicate in English, she told me one time that she would like to try to perfect her pronunciation in English, and she wants to basically slowly try to lose some of her accent. So essentially, I'm going to start a 1 month long accent reduction program with my mom, and we're going to try to check her progress as we move along. So I had a little conversation with her in English to just demonstrate where she is at currently. And what we're going to try to do, of course, is get her to improve her pronunciation of the English language from a general standpoint. And mind you, of course, that I also have an accent as I speak English, so I would probably also benefit from an accent reduction program. Basically, since I've been dedicating myself to so many other languages, what happens is that my accent in English basically, suffers a bit. I still have, of course, this mixed accent as I speak English, but I don't mind. And I think that this will be interesting for everyone learning a different language, because whatever language you're learning, you can try to apply the same exercises and the same tips that I will give my mom in order for you to lose your accent or basically improve your pronunciation of your target language. For her first week, I suggested that she does 1 hour of listening to a blog of a topic that she's interested in with native English speakers. And she likes painting, so we found a very good painting blog. And I told her to focus specifically as well on the melody of the language, of the melody of the English language. And I've also told her to try to actually mimic a lot of what is being said. Of course, she's not going to be speaking and trying to repeat everything she listens to in the full hour, but I told her, try to repeat a few words back, try to be engaged, try to listen, but also repeat a few words and try to shadow essentially what is being said. So that's basically my own personal spin on the shadowing method, trying to mimic the pronunciation of a native speaker of the language. Towards the end of the month, I may give her more specific exercises, perhaps focus on specific sounds. However, I think that starting very generally with something that she's interested in listening to anyway may be a really good point to get started with. And by the way, if you guys are going to post comments about my mom, be nice. So without further ado, this is the conversation that I had with my mom, so you guys can have an idea of where she is currently at. Hello everyone, I'm here with my mother, Anna, and my mom, she moved from Brazil here to Canada when in 2003?
2003.
Excellent.
January.
And January 2003. So it's been a while. Because of the fact that she moved here as an adult, she still has an accent when she speaks English. And, like I always say, there is no problem having an accent. An accent can be quite charming, and, it can be a cool thing. However, I think it's always great to try to improve pronunciation and to sometimes try to reduce your accent in your target language. And recently my mom told me that she said, hey Gabriel, maybe you can help me to try to improve my pronunciation in English, to try to reduce my accent as I speak English. And I said, okay, well, why not? What I wanted to do today is just have a quick chat with her in English so you guys have an idea of where she is at the beginning of our little program for her to reduce her accent in English. And then I think we're going to do some progress reports, have more chats as we go along. And then at the end of the program, if she does her homework, and I think she will do her homework,
I will.
and practice a lot and try to reduce her accent, I think it'll be cool to see where she can get to. So without further ado, let's have a little chat. So you speak with a lot of your friends still in Portuguese, is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I worked in a Portuguese church
For many
10
years?
years.
10 years.
10
Okay.
years, yeah. And there we spoke in Portuguese,
Okay.
basically.
So primarily, so I think that that's one of the reasons why you still have a bit of an accent, because the fact that you spoke mostly Portuguese for these 10 years at work at the Portuguese church here in Canada.
Yes, and it's true, as you said at the beginning, they said, oh, your accent is charming, you don't need
that's
to
true.
improve your
Yeah,
but
many
it's,
people- yeah.
it's my will, you know,
Yeah,
I
it's
would like
you want to improve your accent.
Yes,
Excellent.
yes, it's my will, yeah.
Excellent. And earlier you told me before we started recording the video that sometimes you would be perhaps at a store, at a supermarket, and you say a word and people understand it, but they just repeat it back to you to just confirm what you want.
Yes, yes, it's true.
Okay.
In the past, like, this is the way that I'm learning also, and I think that's good for my brain, you know, because at the supermarket, and also I had many classes in Brazil, as you know,
Yes.
and the teachers over there, like
Oh, the teachers in Brazil have accents.
oh yes,
As they, of course.
like I learned salt. And
Okay.
when I went to the supermarket, I couldn't find salt.
Oh, I see.
It's,
Okay.
it's very subtle.
Yeah, it's a subtle difference, but because of the fact that I think sometimes you say salt, right? Especially because in Brazilian Portuguese we pronounce vowels a certain way, right?
Yes.
So a is a. It's a very open sound
Yeah.
compared to English, and then basically here, well, in English we say salt, right? Or perhaps in Britain it sounds a little bit different, but here in Canada we say salt. So you said salt at the supermarket, and they said they understood, but they to confirm they said, "Oh, you mean salt?"
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Like also like a princess.
Oh, I see.
You know?
Princess. Okay.
Yeah, and you have to pronounce princess. Another example that you gave to me was
Oh yeah, because for the word success, you said success originally. So I just corrected your pronunciation to say, okay, success instead of success. And I think that that's something that happens with a lot of Brazilians learning English. They know the grammar really well. They can speak quite
Yes.
well. They understand really well. However, their accent's still very thick, and that's normal. They can communicate, and I think, like I said before, it's it's cool to have an accent. It sounds charming. It's a conversation starter, right? Because you sound different, but at the same time, it's cool to try to improve.
yeah, it's an option. You
Yes.
know, I'd like to improve. I'd like to have a nice pronunciation that
Yeah,
people
well, to pronounce things correctly in
Yeah.
English, and you love the English language, like you
Oh,
said before.
yes,
It's a
yes.
beautiful language.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. So, are you going to do your homework?
Oh yeah, for
Are
sure.
you committed?
I'm
Excellent.
committed.
So,
Yeah.
so we're going to try to do some progress reports, have more chats, and see where we can get. Thank you.